We continue now at the top of Daf Tzadi Beis and Beis Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 92b. The Gemara here is in the middle of revising the statement of Rav in the name of Rebbe Chia, and the Gemara here, according to this revision, is suggesting that if someone carries something on his head, it is not going to be considered carrying on Shabbos. He's going to be patur. V'im tim salomra anshe hutzal osim kain. Now, if you're going to say, isn't that the way the people of Hutzal carry, so it should be considered normal? The Gemara says, no, batla daiton etzel kol adam. Their way of doing things is nullified against the normal way of doing things, and we do not consider it to be Hotzah on Shabbos. The Gemara now continues with the Mishnah, hamiskavein lahotzi lefanav. If somebody has kavana to carry something in front of him, ubalo la'acharav, he ends up carrying it behind him, pater, in such a case he's pater. La'acharav, if he has intention of carrying it behind him, ubalo lefanav, and instead he carries it in front, chayiv, in that case he is chayiv. Be'emes amru, in truth they said, ha'isha ha'chogeres besinor bein milfaneh u bein milachareh chayeves. If a woman has a sinor, which we'll describe in Rashi, whether it's in front of her or behind her, she's chayev. Shekein roy lios chozer, because it's the normal way to turn in the different directions. Rabbi Yehuda says, af mekaple piskin, even people who receive letters, and we'll see this in Rashi as well, what exactly this means. Rashi says, hamiskavein lahotzi lefanav kigon shetzar mos besadino, a person has money in his pouch, kedei shayu teluyin lefanav, it's supposed to be hanging in front of him, ubalo lachrav, and ends up hanging behind him. In the front of him it's more protected, and so he ends up carrying it in a way that he didn't intend. Potter, his original intention has not been niskayim, and he has a din of mesasek. It's as if he didn't have real kavana to carry, and he's going to be potter in that case. If it was the reverse, then he's going to be chayiv. The Gemara mefarish time, and the Gemara will explain why. Then we talked about the woman with the sinor. Sinor, Rashi says, kein mechnasayim ketanim. It's like small kinds of pants. V'chogeres o son l'tznius. She kind of wraps it around herself as a way of modesty. V'im talsa bo shum davar lahotzi ubalo l'tzad acher chayeves. For her, if she put it that it should hang in one direction and went the other direction, she's going to be chayiv. Shekein roy lios chozer. Darko lios chozer tzvivo said, this piece of clothing, this article of clothing, is something kind of sounds like an apron. It's normal that it would turn to the other direction. When she puts this thing on, it's normal that it's going to turn around. So since that's the normal way of carrying, she's going to be chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda says, piskin shel melech lemosrim l'rotzim. This is talking, according to Rashi, about people that used to receive letters from the king, and they would give them to a runner to deliver. And they're chayiv if they carry it. According to Rashi, the case is the original intention was to carry it out to bring to a particular runner, and then instead it was given to a different runner. Kach lashon rabosai. That's how my Rebbeim explained it. V'libi megamgem. Rashi says he's not sure that this is the pshat. The reason why Rashi's not sure is probably because it doesn't really match up with the other cases where it's supposed to be in the front or the back. Here it was to be given to one person, it goes to another person. It's a little different, but in any case, that's the way Rashi explains this sheet of Rabbi Yehuda. Even in that situation, Rashi says the person would also be considered chayiv, just like the woman who's chogeres besinor. The Gemara says, Ma'ishna lefanov ubalo la'achrav de pater. How come if he wanted to carry it in front of him and it goes to the back, he's pater? Telo is avid machshavto. He didn't do his original intention. But if it was supposed to be behind him and it comes in the front, also there the intention wasn't fulfilled. So how come the halacha is different? And in the second case, he's considered chayiv. Amar Rabbi Elazar says, Tavri, you have to break up this Mishnah, Misha Shanazu, Lo Shanazu. Whoever said the first phrase didn't say the second phrase. In other words, you're correct. It actually is contradicting one phrase to the other. Amar, that's what Rabbi Elazar says. Amar Rava, so Rava says, Umay Kushya, 1 second. What's the difficulty? Dilma Lefanav Ubolo La'achrav Hainu Time with the Potter Din Eskavin Lishmira Mu'ulav also be other Shmira Pechusa. In the case where he wanted it in front and it goes to the back, so he wanted a good protection and he ended up getting a bad protection. So that's why it's not carrying. La'achrav Ubolo Lefanav. But in a case where he originally wanted it behind him and it goes in front of him, Hainu time of the chayiv, you know why he's chayiv. Then eskavin l'shmir pchusav also be other shmir meula. He wanted there a lesser protection and he gets a better protection. Of course he's going to be chayiv. So elamai kushi, but if that's the case, it's so obvious. What's the difficulty? The answer is diyuka de masnisin kasha. The difficulty is when you're being medayik in the Mishnah, when you're being exacting in the language of the Mishnah, it doesn't work out perfectly. Why? Because the Mishnah says hamiskavin lahotzi lafanav ubalo la'achra pater. If you had intention to carry in front and you carry in back your pater, hala'achra ubalo la'achra chayiv. The implication is if you had intention behind you and it was behind you, so you did what your intention was, so the implication is you'd certainly be chayiv. But ema seifa, let's make a similar similar kind of diak at the end of the Mishnah. Li'acharav ubolo lefanav hu dechayev, and according to the end of the Mishnah, it says if you wanted it behind him and it goes in front, he's chayev. Hala'acharav ubolo la'achar potter sounds like if you wanted it behind him and it's behind him, it sounds like you're potter. So really, the contradiction is what would be in a case where the person wanted to carry it behind him and it ended up that he carried it behind him. What would be the halacha? It seems like a contradiction in diukim. So Amar Rabbi Elazar, on that, Rabbi Elazar said, Tavra Misha Shanazu, Lo Shanazu. You have to break up the Mishnah. If you have one diak according to one part of the Mishnah and then another diak in the other part, it must have been learned by different Tanoim. Amar Rav Ashi, and to that, Rav Ashi says, my kushi, what's the difficulty? Dilma Lomi Boy Kamer, you can read the Mishnah as a Lomi Boy. Lomi Boy la'achrav ubolo la'achrav dechayev. Certainly, if he wanted to carry it behind him and it ends up behind him, for sure he's chayev. That's not even a question. Disavida machshavta, that was his original intention. Ela afilu la'achrav ubolo lefanav, but even if he wanted it behind him and he ended up carrying in front of him, it's trichale, we need that case, al kadai techamina, because I might have thought, ho'av lo esavin machshavta lo lechayev, since his original intention wasn't fulfilled, he shouldn't be chayev. Kamash malon, then it's kavin l'shmir pchusa. We also biyado shmir ma'ula dechayev. It teaches us that since his original intention was for a lesser kind of protection and he ended up getting a better one, even in that case, he is chayev. And the Gemara ends up saying, well, in this case that we've been discussing here, where he wanted it behind him and it ended up behind him, that's actually Tanoihi, that's actually Machlukas Tanoim. The Tanya we learned in a Brisa, Hamotzi Mos B'Pundaso, if somebody carries money in his belt, Upio Lamal, and it's turned upward, Chayev is Chayev. Pio Lamata, now if it's turned down, so that's a Shmira Pchusa, that's definitely a lesser protection, the money can fall right out. In that case, Rabbi Yehuda Mechayev, Rabbi Yehuda says Chayev, Chachamim Potrin, and the Chachamim say Potter. Amar Lehen Rabbi Yehuda, and Rabbi Yehuda said to them, yeah, Tamodim B'la'achar of Abola La'achar Shuchayev. Don't you admit that if you wanted to carry something behind you and it ends up behind you that you're Chayev? So therefore you see Rabbi Yehuda holds you Chayev in that case. V'yamar Lo, and they say to him, V'ya Tamoda Kila'achar Yodo V'raglo Shu Potter. Don't you admit that if you carry something in an unnatural fashion, that you're potter, that was their raya. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda says, Ani amarti davar echad, I said one thing, Ve'ein amru davar echad, and they said a different proof. Ani lo matzasi teshuva l'divreim, I didn't have a good answer for them. Ve'ein lo matzah teshuva l'dvari, and they don't have a good answer for me. So the Gemara now wants to fully understand what the machlokas here is. Midukah amar lu iatem modim, now from the fact that he says to them, don't you admit to me, Lav mechlal depachi rabbanan. It implies that the rabbanan in that case would actually argue with him. In other words, Rabbi Yehuda would say, if you wanted it behind you and it was behind you, you'd be chayiv. And apparently they disagree. So that seems to be clear. But the Gemara says, but according to that diuk, the Ka'amri le they also said to him, don't you admit, Mechlal de Mechayev Rabbi Yehuda, does that mean that Rabbi Yehuda would say, Kila'achar yad is chayev? That's absurd. The Brisa says specifically that everybody agrees if you carry something Kila'achar yad with the back of your hand in an unnatural fashion, it's potter. So the Gemara says as follows. Actually, if you're really going to understand what's going on in this brisa, if you wanted it behind you, if he wanted it behind him, and it ends up behind him, everybody would actually agree chayev. It's not a machlokas tanaim like the Gemara originally thought to say. La'achar yad of raglu divrei kol potter, and everybody agrees if you carry something la'achar yad, that's for sure potter. That's not a machlokas. Ki pligi b'pundaso pilamata. The only machlokas in this brisa really is when you're carrying it with the money belt upside down. Mar medami le la'achar of, one compares that to wanting to carry it behind him, ubalo la'achar, and he puts it behind him. Umar medami le the other opinion says, no, that's more comparable to a case where you carry la'achar yad, a totally not normal way. So in the end, in conclusion, the Gemara says, la'achrav ubolo la'achrav is not a machlokas tanoim. Everybody would agree that la'achrav ubolo la'achrav is in fact chayev. Gemara now says, be'emes amru ha'isha tana kol be'emes halachi. The Brisa says, anytime a Mishnah says be'emes amru, we know that is the halacha. Rabbi Yehuda, Omer Af Makabli Piskin, those who receive letters, Tana Shekain Lavlere Malchus Osakin, the scribes of the king would actually do this. Rashi says, Shekain Lavlere Malchus Osakin Bedaito Lamosun Lazev Vein Motso. They would have a common case where they would want to give it to one person and it doesn't end up being fulfilled like that. So Dvar HaMelech Nochutz, they can't find the person they want, and the king is pressing them. It's a pressing matter. Umotze Acher, they find another person to deliver. Umosrolo, they give it to that person. So the point of the Brisa here is this was a common thing when things were delivered on behalf of the king. Gemara now continues with the Mishnah. Hamotzi kikor l'rishus harabim chayev. If somebody carries a kikor of bread, a piece of bread to rishus harabim, he's chayev. Hotziu shnayim petur. And if two people carry it, they're patur. Because, well, we'll see. But the Mishnah continues. Lo yachol echad lo hotziu. Now, if it's so heavy that one person can carry it, v'hotziu shnayim, so two people carry it, chayavin, according to the Tanakam. In that case, even though two people are carrying it, it's chayev. Rabbi Shimon potur. Rabbi Shimon says, even in that case, two people who do the malacha, even where you require two people to do the malacha, it's going to be pater. The Gemara says, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav. Rav Yehuda says in the name of Rav, V'yamri lo, Amar Abaya. Some people say Abaya made the statement. V'yamri lo b'masnisa tana. Some people say it's taught in a brisa. Zeh yachol v'zeh yachol. Let's say you have something which single-handedly this guy can carry it on his own and this other guy can carry it on his own. Rabbi Meir mechayev. Rabbi Meir says in such a case, if they do it together, chayev. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon potrim. But Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon both say in such a case, pater. Now, zeh eino yachol v'zeh eino yachol. What if each one individually can't carry that and it's too heavy? So in that case, if they carry it together, Rabbi Yehuda v'Rabbi Meir mechayevim. So in that case, not only Rabbi Meir, because he always says chayev, even Rabbi Yehuda in that case says chayev. Rabbi Shimon poter, but Rabbi Shimon continues to say pater. That's similar to what Rabbi Shimon says in our Mishnah, where lo yachol echad, one person can't carry it. Rabbi Shimon says pater. Now, zeh yachol v'zeh eino yachol. What if one could carry it on his own, one can't? Divrei hakol chayev. So in that case, everybody agrees. Chayev Rashi here says, Zeh yachol v'zeh eino yachol v'hotzio shneim, and they both carry a divrei hakol chayev. Everyone agrees chayev. Well, common meforish hayminayu chayev. The Gemara later is going to have to explain which one of them is chayev. Just going back to the other case of where they're both not able to. So Zeh eino yachol v'zeh eino yachol. We'll actually read the Rashis backwards here. Dor chayev lahotzi b'shnayim. This is something which normally is carried with two people. Ba'asir le Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Meir. Here Rabbi Yehuda agrees with Rabbi Meir. The chayev that you're chayev. Rabbi Shimon poter diyolef mikroy k'lakamon. Rabbi Shimon agrees pater, like we say later on. And then just going on the first case here, going back to the earlier Rashi, let's say they each could take it on their own and then they end up taking it together. Rabbi Meir mechayev de lo darish basosa lachi. He doesn't make this drasha of basosa, that it has to be one person. Elo liftor yachid shasa boras bezin kelakaman. He uses the word lasosa for a different halacha about a yachid shasa boras bezin. So therefore he holds that even when two people carry something, they're going to be chayev. Rabbi Yehuda poter. Rabbi Yehuda says in that case, pater de lav orche bachi. It's not normal if one person can carry it. Why would two people do it? It's not a normal way of carrying. Ostam masnis and Rabbi Yehuda. And our Mishnah is following the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. So those are the various opinions about carrying with two people. The Gemara says, Tanya Nam Yachal, we have a brisa like this as well. Amotzi kikor l'rishus harabim. If you bring a kikor to rishus harabim, chayev, you're chayev. Hotzio shnaim. If two people carry it, Rabbi Meir mechayev. Rabbi Meir again says two people carrying is chayev. For Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says it depends. Im lo yachal echad lotzio v'hotzio shnaim chayavin. If it's something that requires two people chayev. V'im la patur, if not patur. For Rabbi Shimon poter. Rabbi Shimon says it doesn't matter what the situation is, two people carry, always patur. Now what is the source? The Gemara wants to know, where do we know these halachas about two people carrying being patur? The Tanur Rabban, we learned in the brisa, ba'asosa. It says in the pasuk, when you do this malacha, ha'osas kula v'lo ha'osas miktsah. So we darshan that when you, in order to be chayev for a malacha on Shabbos, you have to do the entire malacha. You can't do part of it. Keitzad, how so? Shnayim shayochazin b'malgez v'logazin. Let's say two people are holding a pitchfork and they're pitchforking. They're turning over the grain in the goren. So in such a situation, Rashi says, v'hu ma'amer du av malacha. This is the av malacha called ma'amer. That's what they're doing. Or b'charkar v'shoftin. They're taking a karkar and they're shoftin. Rashi says, do mesach. This is the malacha of mesach, which is part of the malachos in the category of weaving. Bekulmis, or they're holding a quill, the kosvin, and they're writing together. Bekana, they have a reed and they're carrying it to Shazram together. Yachol yu chayav, and the Brisa says, I might have thought they're chayav. Together they're doing malacha. What's the difference if they do it single-handedly or they do it combined? Talmud lomar, that's why the pasuk says, ba'asosa, when he does it. Ha'osa is kuli, you have to do, one person has to do the entire malacha, v'lo ha'osa miksasa, not somebody who does part of the malacha. And Rashi here explains, Bekana v'otziu v'chol hanach zeh yachol v'zeh yachol ninu. These are all examples of where each person on their own could have done the entire malacha individually, and they're doing it in combination. And so the Brisa is learning from Ba'asosa that in these cases they're patur, and the Brisa will continue. We'll see this in the next video on Daf Tzadi Gimel Amud Aleph.